alleged genocide, analysis on diplomatic options and the polarizing narrative. That's what we're going to be looking at this morning. We've heard from viewers across the country during our phone-in segment, sharing their hopes, fears and concerns about America's potential involvement in Nigeria's security challenges. We've heard different opinions, different perspectives as well. And now it's time to take a closer look at the diplomatic, political and strategic angles. Now joining us here in the studio is Ambassador Haruna Wakani, a retired diplomat, cybersecurity expert and international affairs commentator who will unpack the diplomatic options available. Also with us is Hadi Sani, Senior Special Assistant to the Ogun State Governor on Inter-Ethnic Affairs and Secretary of the Ariwa Community of Southern Nigeria, bringing a perspective on national cohesion and inter-community dynamics. And via Zoom from Yola, Adamawa State, we are joined by Mr. Sunday Yusuf Amos, a public affairs analyst who will provide insights on how this narrative is shaping public opinion and regional responses. Now together we'll examine whether Nigeria can navigate this crisis diplomatically, what role external actors could play, and how citizens and leaders can reconcile differing narratives. All right, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, Ambassador, let us start.
Good morning, everyone.
Someone with vast knowledge of the diplomatic scene as well as, internal affairs. Can you set the scene for us? What exactly are Nigeria's diplomatic options to responding this kind of particular concern to foreign statements about intervention, especially with the declaration of Nigeria being a country?
We are at a panic mode, let's say. Everybody is agitated, naturally. For America to characterize or classify Nigeria in that category first and foremost. And then the threat or the instruction given to the War Office to prepare for an intervention in Nigeria. That's a very grave situation. And then given the scenarios on the ground, yes, you could see that we have very good reasons to be anxious of what might happen tomorrow or next. Now, the diplomatic options open to us as a country is our handlers of government ought to change their narrative and be more reconciliatory, more pragmatic, more realistic in comments and observations than what it is today. We seem to be on the defensive, unfortunately, and very aggressively for that matter, defending what is not defensible. When you say a country has been accused of genocide, is it true or not? That should be the question answered by the government. If you don't have any counterposition, silence becomes golden in this case. But for some of these government officials that are saying all sorts of things in defense of the government blindly, let me repeat the word blindly, defending the government blindly, I think that's escalating the scenario, which shouldn't be. Information to foreign affairs, to the government handlers and the rest of them, yes, they need to tone down. We need to say what it says, because governance has become so digital that nobody has a monopoly of information or data on anything that's happening. Whatever happened in Nigeria, day by day, there are institutions around the world that have been keeping track of events by the second. They have accurate data of victims. They have accurate profiles of these victims and what has happened. And so you cannot tell anyone. Nobody is waiting for you to tell the world that yes, there was genocide or no genocide. It's a clear indication. They have data in various research institutions around the world. And so when the American senator made the presentations, they are based on facts and figures. And if you come now and say it didn't happen, no, I think that is wrong. What we may have not told ourselves is genocide has happened in Nigeria. Is it a Christian genocide? No. Is it a Muslim genocide? No. Is it an ethnic genocide? No. Is it a combination of all of the above? Yes. Because in every angle of Nigeria, there has been some form of genocide. What is genocide? Genocide is systematic killing of people based on a classification or whatsoever. And you have killed Christians in their numbers around Nigeria. Muslims have been killed right inside the mosque, praying in the early mornings across Nigeria. Ethnic nationalities in their homes, without provocation, without anything, have been killed. Nobody can deny that. Government should not come and tell anybody that genocide did not exist. No, it has happened. What has government done? Apparently none, nothing. And I think that is the major problem. The failure of governance to address the security situation in Nigeria has aggravated the situation such that people have now said, we no longer respect our government or trust our government, we cannot stand by anymore, and so we have appealed to people to help us. Now, if the Christian community, for instance, found friends across the world to say, please come and help us, you cannot blame anybody to have characterized Nigeria in that regard. And so Nigeria needs to accept the scenario as it is. And now, what do we really do? Can government jig up its act in the security sector? Can there be more activity by government to be seen by everyone that, yes, government has fully taken care of the security situation and Nigerians are free? If you ask, for instance, there are some ungoverned places in Nigeria. Some local government areas are under the siege of terrorists. How do you explain if you have a government? How? Local government, no chairman, no emir, no councillor, nobody. They have all run away. The local government is in the charge, and the terrorists are in charge. They give instructions, they collect taxes, they levy people, they regulate affairs. So now, even the government itself is a victim. Nigerian government is a victim because the jihadis, what they are saying is, they do not recognize the Nigerian government. Forget about anything you see around. They do not recognize the Nigerian government. That's what they are saying. Now, you can see, they come in and kill people in a mosque. You begin to ask the question, how will somebody come into a mosque, shout Allahu Akbar, and kill people who have assembled to pray the same religion? So how come? What are the nexus of what is going on? Now, that is where Nigeria should be very, very interested, because what the jihadists are saying is, even if you are a Muslim, you are not yet a correct Muslim if you are not a jihadist.
All right, Ambassador, not to cut you short, a lot of Nigerians would say that there's fear of this particular intervention that the United States is trying to provide. There have been track record of, not so good situations after the United States has intervened in other countries. What is your take on this? And should Nigerians have a lot of concern?
Very, very good indeed. Very, very good. Indeed, in all cases, let me say, without exception, there has never been an intervention that successfully ended. Interventions have always ended in prolonged presence and muted desires for everybody to live. Unfortunately, you cannot even live, and what have you. So we have seen from Afghanistan to Iran, to wherever, starting from very early days of Vietnam and the rest of them, American intervention has always been a problem. And so Nigeria cannot be an exception. If Nigeria refused, for instance, to host the AFRICOM command, that's the African command of the American government or military, in those days, it remains so today. Because once you host America today, telling them to go back home might be almost impossible. We have seen what has happened since World War II. America has been in Japan, and with that military base, up to today, there is a problem. When the government sees that American soldiers are mistreating even civilians, they say, please leave, we are tired of this base. They say, no, we cannot leave because you need to pay. You need to do this, you need to do that. So the conditions are almost impossible. And that is the fear that Nigeria had in the 80s to say no to American AFRICOM home base here. Now we are facing the same problem today. If they come in, surely be assured that they are not going to leave on time, because once they achieve or access a territory, it becomes American soil in Nigeria. And so there's no way you will ask them to go back home, because they will not dismantle all those huge military installations overnight and what have you. And
all right, Ambassador. Let's hear from Mr. Amos, who is standing by to, make sense of today's topic. Hello, Mr. Amos, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. Good morning. Now, let's hear your view concerning, how this issue is being perceived in northern Nigeria and across other regions. Are these, perceptions shaped more by security realities or political rhetoric?
Thank you very much. My heartache is that whatever Donald Trump or America is planning to do, we are the ones who have caused it. We are the ones who have actively invited this particular scenario, particularly those of us who are in northern Nigeria. I'm an indigen of Adamawa State. I'm a bona fide northerner. And I want to say that especially in northern Nigeria, we are the ones squarely responsible for this situation. We have laid the foundation, built block by block, block by block, block by block, and we are now about to reap all the things that we have been sowing all these years. Discrimination along religious lines, along ethnic lines. These terrorists, these jihadists that the ambassador is talking about, where did they come from? They were brought in by northern politicians in order to kick out Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. People like El Rufai came out on national TV gleefully to talk about this and to say they were even paying them so that they don't kill our people. And whether you talk about Boko Haram or ISWAP or Kalakato or whoever it is, we now see over the years, over the decades, northern politicians who have politicized, weaponized, and even monetized, ignorance, religion, ethnicity, poverty, and now insecurity. And so when all these killings are going on in Benue, in Plateau, and all other parts of the Middle Belt, everybody is keeping silence. When the Muslim ticket thing came up, everybody was hailing it. When the Sharia thing came up, we are all part of it. We are in this country. We know all these things, year in, year out. And we think that we are doing all of these things. The international community is not taking note. The ambassador has said it. These people have data. They have information. They are keeping track of all of these things. And there's a Hausa proverb that says, "Susun de kira ruwa shirwa zai daka." And we are now finding a situation where the case of Nigeria has gone outside, and international community is now taking interest, and Trump is even threatening to take military action. And the reason why everybody is set on edge is because everybody knows that Trump does not bluff. He says what he will do, and he does what he says he will do. So it's a grave situation, and it has become a politicized situation. But like the ambassador said, instead of us continuing to play the ostrich, it is better for us to come to our senses. This division along ethnic lines, along religious lines that has bedeviled northern Nigeria, this weaponization of insecurity and poverty and ignorance and religion that our political elites have taken advantage of. One thing that is absolutely clear is that these people don't care about the masses, whether it's Muslims or Christians. You can continue to die as long as they benefit from what is happening. So I have a heartache as a northerner, as a Christian. And that is that if today Christians are being slaughtered, the Muslims will keep quiet. If tomorrow the Muslims are being slaughtered, the Christians will keep quiet. At the end of the day, it doesn't help any of us. So this is the situation we have found ourselves. And instead of continuing to deny reality, like the ambassador has said, let us look inwardly and see what we can do to remedy the situation. This is my take in summary about what is happening.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Amos. Now, moving to you, Mr. Hadi Saini. At this point, what is your initial reaction to the narrative around the United States involvement, particularly from community and inter-ethnic perspectives?
Oh, thank you so much. As a leader, as a stakeholder, as an expert, you would be concerned when a country like US categorize you into a country of particular concern and refer your matter to Department of War. It's an issue of concern indeed. Looking to historical antecedents of such intervention of the US through that military might, it will never go down that easy. We see their intervention in Afghanistan that lasted for over 2 decades. And at the end of the day, it wasn't that's not a good option indeed. And you know, we also, because it has become a general issue, everyone is concerned, we need to understand the foundation of how US came about this intervention. Actually, they had a law. There is an International Religious Freedom Act that was being enacted during Bill Clinton, I think 1998, that has to do with monitoring international foreign policies in religious tolerance. They mandated upon themselves to look after foreign countries on how they manage religious tolerance and condemn any religious intimidation. That was the basis within which they are intervening on our matter. But the issue remains that we are bothered due to how they define the process. When they make it a Christian genocide, that is an issue of concern, because while we are looking for a joint solution, if we, the citizen, accept it as an interreligious crisis, we have compounded the problem, which means while they are intervening, inward, we are divided already. So we have to find a way to unify our purpose, to know that this is an issue that concerns us all. We have to look inward. I, in person, will not also in totality condemn the statement of this issue in Nigeria. What the government and we, the citizens, should condemn is that we should not see it as an attack from Muslim to Christian, because it's a generic issue. There are a lot of data that has classified that the killings is all encompassing. It's all encompassing. In fact, based on the data compiled, I think, by Council of Foreign Relations, we've seen a wide range of people that are being killed in the mosque. I think over 2,000 compared to around 1,005 killed in the church. There are massive killing in Benue, massive killing in Jos, massive killing in the North Central. But we also have so many killings in Northwest. It's like, in fact, Sokoto is the home of Islamic power. That's where Sultan is. Sokoto State is devastated. Katsina is devastated. Kebbi, Zamfara, even Kano that is safe. As at this morning, I was listening to BBC. Some local government that has boundary with Katsina are facing the funds. The governor of Kano State have called for emergency meeting now. So that shows you the criminality has no respect of religion. If US will support us with training our military men, with any other support. But Ambassador has certainly said, we all know military intervention of US will not always come as they said. In Trump's intervention, he said it will be fast, swift, and immediate. It will never be like that, based on historical antecedents. It will take time for it to happen. That is why we are concerned. We know there are problems. One, we do not want that military intervention. We need diplomatic intervention. Two, we do not want to accept division, religious division, that it is a massacre of Christian by the Muslim. That would further polarize us. Even if intervention is coming for us to solve it, if inward we have become divided, it will become so difficult for us to resolve the issue, because there is no way they can solve your matter in totality without inward support. So if there is division, if there is critical division, we won't be able to support the intervention any external forces is bringing. I think this should be our major concern, and at this point in time, we need to keep sensitizing ourselves. This is the time for us to become unified. That's the one way. Then the second aspect of it, government. One of the benefits I see from this intervention is that governments will have to look inward and go extra mile. If there are no killings, there won't be these interventions. So we are trying our best, but it is not enough. The killings is so massive, at times you'll be bothered that why are these things still going on? We need technical intervention, we need drones intervention, we need technology.
All right, Ambassador, when you look at the pattern of violence, especially in the Middle Belt, it's not just about religion, but also, land disputes, head of farmers clashes, and poverty and a whole lot. Now, do you think Nigeria should invite an independent fact-finding mission to verify what really is going on in the country when it comes to insecurity?
Well, fact-finding mission, I don't think it's necessary anymore or appropriate now. Like I said before, in the archives, there are incident reports, very accurate incident reports, minute by minute, day by day, by various research institutions that have compiled data on what is going on and why some of these things are so. The challenge Nigeria really has, which Nigerian government ought to come out and be honest enough to admit and now look for solution, is even the Nigerian state is not safe. The jihadists do not recognize the government of Nigeria. They do not recognize the government of Nigeria. So Nigerian government itself is a victim. And so that is where the nexus of what can we do and what we should have done comes in. The jihadists are saying you must implement Sharia law across Nigeria. Period. They are not asking for too many things. If you accept, it means the federal government, the state government, local governments will have to be dissolved and restructured along the jihadist structure of theocracy, which now becomes a problem. Right now, you see, Nigeria has become very confused. You are a state governor elected by a secular constitution, and you now govern a particular state, and you allow yourself to also establish a Sharia law in that state. That is, there's duality of governance. You have secularism and you have theocracy running parallel. The day the jihadists succeed in establishing true Sharia law, that will be the end of any governor. That will be the end of any emir or sultan or district head or whatsoever, because these jihadists will replace these people with their own. You must be an imam to be part of that governance structure. Therefore, people are really toying with what is really out there. It's much bigger than what we are looking at. So we need to sit back and analyze these things very carefully than what we have seen today. So for governors, one will expect, particularly the governors conference, governors forum, they should be looking at some of these things from a holistic or higher level, reason above what is going on. Otherwise, everybody is a victim.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Now, to you, Mr. Amos, at this point, how do you think citizens are reacting online and offline to these statements? And do you think that they should feel reassured or threatened? And in what way should the federal government, tackle this particular statement and this particular action that is about to happen?
Well, first and foremost, we need to stop pretending that there is no religion in this matter. The ambassador just finished talking, and he's talking about jihadists. These jihadists is clearly a religious matter. And I don't know if there are Christian jihadists, but the moment you mention jihadists, for me, as a Christian, I immediately become apprehensive. So where there is religion, we keep saying there's no religion in this matter, there's no religion in this matter, we are deceiving ourselves. And it will not help us. Secondly, if you look at the narrative online, particularly among our youth, the social media is on fire. Every preacher is lambasting the other religion. Young men and women are coming out to attack the Bible, attack the Quran, attack the Hadith. Everybody is abusing everybody's father and mother unhindered. Our security agencies are looking at whatever is happening. The social media is on fire. and nobody is checking this. And this is all an offshoot of the way we have elevated religion and ethnicity in this Nigeria. You abuse my religion, I abuse your religion. You abuse my ethnicity, I abuse your ethnicity. And nothing is being done to checkmate this so that we can eliminate these two words from our national psyche, again, particularly in northern Nigeria. So earlier on, my brother Hadi said something. If there are no killings, this matter we will not even be talking about today. The first responsibility of every government is the protection of lives and property of its citizens. You hear allegedly that we were about to catch a Bello Turji and we received the command, withdraw. You hear allegations of soldiers who are about to go and mop up something and they were told to withdraw. Truly, I want to ask, are these bandits stronger than the government of Nigeria? Is it that Turji cannot be captured and eliminated? Are we saying that these bandits in Zamfara, the legendary Nigerian military, that the whole world is respecting during ECOMOG and so on, that these little minute bandits that came from the Sahel are stronger than Nigerian military? No. There is an interest being played out. And like, is it Abacha that said, when an insurgency exceeds 48 hours, it means government is involved. So the whole thing is on the table of the government. The buck stops with the president of this country. Stop the killings. Let us set up in motion a program of reconciliation. And let us deal with this matter of ethnicity and religion. There is no need denying that there is no religion in this matter. No need denying that there is ethnicity in this matter. The first step in identifying the solution is to define the problem well. A problem well defined is half solved. When we keep saying there's no religion, like I said, we are deceiving ourselves. So online, and I follow online what is happening, it's a very worrisome situation. And I fear that if truly Donald Trump executes whatever it is he wants to do, then there will now be a renewed fight between Muslims and Christians in Nigeria, which will take the whole problem to another thing, and we'll begin to have interreligious wars again, just like we had some few years ago. But he didn't say he's coming to fight Muslims. He is saying he's coming to fight the terrorists. And like I just read on one platform, Donald Trump says he's coming to eliminate terrorists. Why are you worried? Are you a terrorist? So are you saying you like what the terrorists are doing, that you don't want Donald Trump to come and eliminate them? So we have a case, we have a big situation, and how we handle it will determine the direction of Nigeria. All
right, thank you, Mr. Amos, for your take on that. I want to find out from Mr. Hadi Sani, with the declaration by the U.S. and this narrative that is spreading that, you know, Christians are only the ones that are being killed in all of this issue. So how do you think local leaders can mediate tension arising from the statements?
Thank you so much. It's a major concern. If you access our social media now and see what our youth and teen population are saying, and as a conflict resolution expert and interethnic advocate, it's high time opinion molders, community leaders, government agencies, and stakeholders across board need to mold the mentality of our teeming youth. Because while the major stakeholders that are in charge of going for this diplomacy to resolve this matter and security agencies to find a way out of it, we the citizens need to be molded to be more tolerant. Because when the authority are striving to get the solution, because I think they are on hot fire, I'm quite optimistic we'll see more extensive effort toward resolving this issue, even with this intervention of the US and other foreign agencies. I know there will be more effort on it. But while those efforts will be ongoing, we need to also look inward to douse the tension amidst our teeming youth. If already social media is on fire, Muslims attacking Christians, Christians are attacking Muslims, we are attacking our Bibles and Qurans. So which means we are on ear as opinion molders have to be careful of what we say. We must encourage people for religious tolerance, because that is a segment of a solution also. While we are facing the core problem of terrorists, of jihadists, of conflict, we also have to mold our opinions to accept ourselves that let us jointly fight our common enemy. But while the agencies are fighting the security challenges, and amidst ourselves also, there is high tension. It's an issue of concern. So stakeholders, community leaders, serikis, imam, the opinion molders, journalists, we have a lot to do. National Retention Agency, we have a lot to do to make sure we speak about tolerance. We douse the tension. Even we have to find a way to regulate our communication out there, because no matter what, our teeming youth, our teeming population are listening to us. So it's a responsibility saddled upon us. I will tell you this. You know, Nigeria is a kind of an heterogeneous community with over 300 ethnic groups. Currently, the southern Nigeria and northern Nigeria are too much interrelated. We have huge influx of northerners to southern Nigerians, and due to this criminal act, due to this insecurity, the influx is massive. So if there is religious intolerance, religious crisis, that will further compound issues, because there are so many people that are living outside their comfort zone, and it's vice versa. So it's a huge responsibility upon us. Rather than joining condemnation, we have to encourage our leaders, tell them the truth, which I think they know the truth now, and they are on hot seats. I know they will do better. But we as citizens, we as youth, we as opinion molders, as serikis, as imams, as journalists, we need to take it upon ourselves as a responsibility to mold our opinion of our teeming youth and population to be upright and tolerate each other. We need to accept the fact that it is a collective threat against us all. I think this is a common stand. Everybody, I think, will believe that this issue is not affecting Christianity alone, it's also affecting Islam and Muslims. So we need to we find ourselves in a position whereby we speak, people will listen. We need to be careful of what we tell our teeming population, for them to be more tolerated, to be more tolerant, accept each other, and see this fight as a collective fight for us to succeed and have a great nation.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sani. Back to you, Ambassador Overkani. Looking at this issue and understanding that the United States has designated itself as an entity that would intervene when it comes to things like religious conflicts. And a lot would ask, why Nigeria at this point, from a different perspective, from the outside looking in? There are other countries that are going through these kind of issues. We can see Palestine over there. We can see some of Sudan going through all this conflict. People ask, why Nigeria at this point? And aside from that, what can the federal government at this point, with these declarations by the United States, what would the federal government do internally to continue and strengthen the fight against what is going on, against the insecurity in Nigeria?
Very, very good question. Really, the fact is, Nigeria needs to just try some other means. Some other means here includes going backwards to see who were our friends before, particularly Americans that have served here in the diplomatic scene. They are all over the place. There have been former ambassadors here, there have been former consular heads and the rest of them that we can utilize to reach out to America, to explain some of these nuances that might not be easily understood somehow. Second, internally, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs needs to actually up its game and be more proactive. We have been too silent as a ministry, to a point where you begin to wonder if Nigeria really exists within the international community. Nothing is being said. No character, no positioning that you can say this is Nigeria. Nigeria used to speak in a way that once it speaks, the world listens. What happened? We've lost that opportunity.
Sorry to interject. Do you think that the lack of ambassadorial appointments at this point by the president has exacerbated this issue?
Very well. Very, very well. Right here on this program, we did say, you cannot run a country without your ambassadors in place. Mm-hmm. If America wants to talk to us today, how do they do that? Nigeria doesn't have an ambassador there. We've screened people who are supposed to be posted. We couldn't do so because of lack of money. If the government tells us that they have made so much money, why are you not funding the embassies to operate? We cannot operate alone here at home. Nigeria is more than that. The world has become so complicated that, or sophisticated, such that you cannot run on your own or by your own means or methods. So we need to go back. Mr. President needs to really wake up. You can't be running a government for 24 months plus, no ambassadors anywhere. People want to talk to Nigeria, they cannot. They have difficulty. Now, the interventions, what Trump has done is to excite the American government, American military to say, there may be an intervention, get ready. You know, they need time to plan. If they are intervening into Nigeria, for instance, are they coming from the sea? Are they coming from air? Is it land invasion? And where exactly are you
Sorry to cut you short, you just said invasion. So is it going to be an intervention or invasion?
No, both. It's both. Once they intervene, it will require invasion. That is the fear that everybody is having. America is coming. People are scared. If they come, how are they going to come? Are they just going to come by mouth? No. So if they are coming by intervention, which will result into invasion, that is where people are worried that if you have an invasion tomorrow, the country becomes completely a different place. And it is the end result that is usually the problem. How do they go back? Like we said, they cannot come, they will tell you they need an air base. Once they establish an air base, it will take not less than 50 years arrangement. And once you sign that treaty, you have conceded that territory to that country of America, and they will not go. So because of this, we have this difficulty. The government needs to really, really come up better as it is doing right now.
All right, Mr. Amos, before we go, we know that, ahead of elections, insecurity narratives often trend on social media, causing, chaos and division amongst Nigerians. And some people feel that political leaders within and outside the country use this tragic event to score points, either to discredit the government or to gain sympathy. Now, how can we stop turning insecurity into political propaganda?
Yeah, sorry. Earlier on, I had said that our political elites have politicized, weaponized, and even monetized insecurity, especially for purposes of election. And I had said earlier that insurgents were brought from the Sahel in order to remove Goodluck Jonathan from government. And now that politicians know that they can use insecurity to remove their political opponents unless and until something drastic is done to eliminate these terrorists from our borders before the 2027 elections, people will continue to take advantage. Before now, we used to have election thugs, agberos, that are being used to intimidate political opponents. It has been there, but it has now been escalated. Assassination of political opponents, and so on and so forth. So this government has a lot of duty, a lot of responsibility. One, to up her game in eliminating these terrorists from our national borders. Number two, like Hadi said, we need to immediately embark on a program of reconciliation. Tone down the rhetoric. Imams, pastors, begin to preach reconciliation, respect for each other's religions and ethnicity. Young men and women, young men and women of conscience, and I'm happy that even on social media, there are quite a number of both Muslim and Christian youths who are preaching reconciliation. Everywhere you turn left, right, and center, men, women, and young and the youths who are doing this. We need to understand that if this house comes crashing down, we will all crash together with it. We must all either learn to live in peace with one another, or we perish together as fools. We are brothers and sisters. We have been together year in, year out, decade in, decade out. Why would we allow something like this to divide us and begin to destroy us to the point that an external country is coming into our country over an issue that we ourselves can handle? we must understand, especially the masses, that our political elites are playing us for suckers. They don't have this division at the top there. They are united by political party. They are united by money. They are united by their agenda. And they leave us down here. My sisters, just look at these bandits and these kidnappers. Do they look like the people who collect these millions? The millions they collect as ransom doesn't go to them. They go to their masters and sponsors, and they are given peanuts. So this is a call to the masses of Nigeria, the masses of northern Nigeria, both Muslims and Christians. Everybody is suffering. Like you have rightly said, Muslims in their thousands have been slaughtered. Christians in their thousands have been slaughtered, of all ethnicities, from Zamfara to Sokoto to Katsina to Kebbi to Niger. Everywhere you go, we are all in this together. Nobody is sleeping. This tells us that unless we join our hands together to fight what is happening, whether America or no America, do we really even need any country outside to come and help us live in peace with one another? So it's a dire situation. It's an unfortunate situation. But personally, if Trump will come and eliminate Bello Turji, since we were not able to eliminate him, if America will come and deal with all the jihadists and terrorists on behalf of Nigeria, since we are not able to deal with them, perhaps it's a welcome development. I'm not happy to say this. I'm not happy to say this, because what Trump is coming to do is something that we are more than capable. We have more than enough resources to be able to do. So it's shame on us all that a country outside is thinking of coming to do for us what we are more than capable of doing for ourselves.
All right, thank you very much.
May God help us all.
Back to you quickly before we go, Ambassador Warkani. At this point, what is the most important course of action that the federal government should take up when it comes to this particular juncture?
Well, I think it's dialogue with the American government. We need that very fast and very deep and extended. Like I said, the veteran diplomatic corps needs to be activated to really reach out to America and some other countries. We must also appreciate the fact that there are Israeli hands in all this. And because of the deep-seated interest of Israel in American affairs and world affairs, and here in Nigeria in particular, we are also needing to redefine our foreign policy positioning. We really need to do so, because if you go into the minds of people like Senator Ted Cruz, you will see that the Israeli connections are all there, and all this Nigerian government's positioning on what has been happening in the Middle East, where are we? We need to have spoken before now. So the government needs to really take proactive steps diplomatically, and then militarily we need to bolster whatever we can as much as possible. But we must remember that what is about to happen is usually the war economy, and is defined by so many things. And so Nigeria needs to avoid this as much as is possible.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador Haruna Warkani, a retired diplomat, cybersecurity expert, and international affairs commentator. And thank you so much, Hadi Sani, Senior Special Assistant to the Ogun State Governor on Interethnic Affairs and Secretary of the Ariwa Community of Southern Nigeria. As well as our guest on Zoom, we have Mr. Sunday Yusuf Imos, all the way from Adamawa State, a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for being on Daybreak and unpacking so much. Unfortunately, we should have had hours to discuss this particular issue.
Thank you so much for
Thank you so much for being here.
And thank you, Mr. Amos.